The Big Sister Experience is here to share honest conversations and insights around life, mental health, and well-being. While we aim to inform and inspire, the content of this podcast is for general information purposes only. If any topics raises questions or concerns for you, we encourage you to seek professional support or advice before acting on any topics discussed. To begin today's episode, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are recording from, the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We acknowledge that learning through conversation and stories is an Indigenous practice that has been done on this land for centuries before us. We want to pay our respect to any Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander people listening and elders past and present. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Hello!
Hello! My name is Caitlin. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Tiara. My pronouns are also she, her.
If you are new here, we are from the Big Sister Experience. So we run all-day workshops with female identifying and gender diverse students on all things mental health, well-being, things we wish we knew when we were younger. Definitely maybe make sure that they don't make the same mistakes we did, things like that. And we want to welcome you to the Sisterhood Space. Feel free to enter however you feel best. I know it sounds kind of gendered, but it is really about us being that big sister figure, and you're just kind of here to listen, maybe get some advice, maybe share some thoughts, opinions, feelings. But yeah, with that being said, we're the big sisters, you're in the space. Welcome to the Sisterhood Space.
Yay! So before we start doing a little check-in.
How are we feeling? I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling rested.
I'm feeling a bit refreshed.
Which is crazy because I don't think I've felt rested in a long time.
Oh.
I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah, I feel good.
Love that.
I'm ready to chat.
Yes, always.
I know, yeah, when are we not? We're chatting boundaries today too. Interesting.
Oh, very interesting.
I feel like it's a never-ending conversation.
Definitely not. I think there's so many layers to it. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts, but I can't wait to just get into it. And
I feel like this is something I really wish was discussed when I was younger as well, because everyone's like, yeah, make sure he treats you right and make sure they do this, or you want this out of a partner. And I feel like it's so broad, and it's just make sure he says I love you and buys you flowers. And I'm like, okay. But when you really get into the boundaries and how you feel and what isn't right, and even then the emotions under those kinds of boundaries and why are they setting boundaries and about what, it's oh, I wish I had this in my first relationship.
Literally, I feel like we don't know anything, and then you get everyone's opinions and thoughts and everything, and then you're at this stage of you have this bucket load of information and you're like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. And then when emotions are also involved, and it's am I trusting my gut or my heart, or what's going on? And it can get really messy and confusing. And also it's when we think relationships, it's also supposed to be really happy.
And you don't want to hurt that person.
No.
You're setting boundaries and you're but I don't want to set a boundary because I really love them. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
But
we learnt this analogy at one of our training days.
Oh, so
which
good.
I loved. Basically, if you imagine yourself at a top of a sky rise, and there's a massive balcony. If there's no, what do you call it? Fence? Yeah, if there's no fence around that balcony and you can see out all over, you're gonna stay as close to the middle, away from the edge, because there's no barriers, there's no boundaries, right? But if you put those barriers, that fence up a little bit, then you can go closer to the edge because you're safer.
Yeah.
And that's literally exactly what boundaries is. And I think that analogy perfectly sums it up.
It changed the game for me. When I heard it, I went, yeah. I was like, I would actually.
Yeah. So I think that's what boundaries is at the end of the day, is about putting things in place that actually helps you feel closer to the person.
So we get questions in our workshops. We do anonymous questions. So sometimes I think a lot of people can be scared to put a face to a question. And we're always come have a chat. We want to know. But the idea of going up to someone, I wouldn't. I get that that's nerve wracking. So we give students a sticky note and let them pop it in a box and we can answer those questions. And we like to keep those questions that we just think other people might want an answer to. So first question, big one. We're getting into it. I can't say no to sex. I feel too bad. Yeah, I get it.
And we get this question often because at the end of the day, our young people just want to make their partner's happy and they want to, you know, they don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but also they're understanding or realizing that their boundaries might be being pushed, or like they might not even know what they want, but they're not even thinking about that.
And you're hearing so many opinions from so many different people of like, I know when I was in high school, I think I was considered probably like a late bloomer. I don't know, like all of my like first like relationships, like my first kiss, like I didn't have my first kiss when I was in year 9, but all of my friends were like deep in relationships and like had multiple relationships. And I was just like, I don't know. And like when you're in that kind of age of like teens, everyone's kind of on such a different path about these like romantic kind of things, and you kind of see like, oh well, like my friend here is like already having sex, but like this friend still hasn't even like held someone's hand yet, and you're just kind of like, I don't know where I fit. And so you like might want it, but you don't know if you want it, or if it's like, and I get feeling like overwhelmed and like confused about what you should be doing.
And I think it also like feels like a race, because let's say you're all in year 9, right? And everyone is at those different places. You're like, oh well, I should be here, or I feel like I need to play catch up, or like I should have had this amount of experience, or whatever it is. And that adds to this question and why this question gets asked so often, because like people feel the need to be at a certain space or a certain place by a certain time because they're in competition, or like they are comparing themselves to everybody around them. And then in all of that, neglecting how they feel, what they want, like what they want to do. And then you can also then maybe have regrets because you're not listening to your gut yourself. And in the long run, like that's not going to help you either.
Yeah. I think like my initial reaction to this is we need to like kind of separate you're feeling bad or you're feeling guilty or manipulated, or like you're feeling coerced or forced. If you're like, I can't say no to sex, I feel too bad, is it just coming from a place of like, I don't want to hurt them, like I actually really like who I'm with and who I'm dating or who I'm seeing, and I do want to have sex with them, and I'm like kind of feeling that, but I'm just unsure how far I want to go, or like I don't really know how to use my voice yet. And maybe that is just a conversation you want to have with that person. Or is it that like that partner is making you feel bad for not having sex or for saying no? And if you're feeling bad because your partner is like, I want to have sex, and you're like, well, I don't, and they go, well, it's what I want, and do you want me to be happy? Or, and it's like, that is a red flag.
Yes, I understand wanting to like please your partner and like, you know, make them happy and all of that, but if it gets to the point,
it should not be at your expense,
and they should not be threatening you or manipulating you with that, in like not even information, with like that thing to make you do something that you don't even know what you want to do, right? It should not be that way. And also it also shows that they don't care about you as much as they should. Because if they do, they're going to want to make you feel comfortable as much as you want to make them feel comfortable. And I think not even in like high school relationships, in adulthood, I see this still. And it's scary because it's like your partner should be one of the safest spaces for you to be able to even have these conversations. And I think it's like a lot of the times, I don't know if people are having the conversations even. They're just like doing it because they're like too worried about like what they're going to think. I think that's a sign. But I also think sometimes we don't have the tools. We don't know. Well, we don't know what we don't know, right? But I think open up a conversation because, okay, let's say the worst thing happens and like they threaten you to break up with you, right? Because of it.
Good riddance.
Yes. I was like, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? Because you wouldn't want to do that with someone who doesn't care about you, right? And it's like, there was also maybe a reason you were having that gut feeling. You were like, I don't want to do this, but I feel bad. But if this is how they're going to react, right? That tells you everything you need to know. And there'll always be other people.
Yeah. And I just think this conversation might sound difficult, and I know that as like a subject, and I find it really funny going into schools and in like our third workshop when we do like consent and like female health and menstruation, we talk about those things and everyone's like, yeah, and you see everyone get kind of nervous when we talk about these things. I'm all for it. I'm up the front being like, yeah, let's go, like let's chat about this. For me, like it comes with time and it comes with like experience and age and like your kind of friendships and partners and relationships and family, and like it comes from so many different things. But to have those open conversations, I feel like shouldn't be taboo, and I want to have these conversations, and it just makes the relationship so much better when you have those conversations to be like, I like this and I want that. And maybe it's a conversation you have with your partner about, I like really want to kiss you, and maybe we just stop there. Or maybe like I'm open to seeing like how sex goes and like what kind of happens, but if I feel uncomfortable and I say no, I'd like it to like stop there, and I don't want to like continue. And just having those conversations of like, this is my boundary and this is what I want, and it doesn't have to be I want to have sex right now. You can lead up to it, you can work on it, like see how you feel just like kissing or just like cuddling, and then you can like work from that, instead of being like, oh well, now I'm like 16, I have to have sex. It's like, no, we can just like take a step back and really listen to your gut and what you feel. And I know I'm saying like, don't be influenced by those around you, but like everyone's kind of on their own path and in their own head. Nobody is focused on what you're doing. Nobody's there like, I heard Caitlin hasn't kissed anyone. Like everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Just trust your gut and listen to yourself and see what you want and don't want, and like go from there.
And I think on that though, I think just like societally there's this pressure on girls, femme presenting people, whatever it is, to be a certain way or look a certain way. And there's also like, if we look at the layers underneath it, it's like taboo to talk about and all of this stuff. It adds to like not feeling like you can't talk about it. So I think sometimes even if you come from religious backgrounds or cultural backgrounds that are like, this is a bad thing, don't do this, and the taboo is quite high, it adds to the stigma of it, and it makes it harder to have these conversations. And you need to feel safe or like okay to be vulnerable to have these conversations, because it's not easy. I think like obviously we say like, yep, have the conversation, but in saying that, it's hard and it's like nerve-wracking, because it isn't stuff that we typically talk about every day. And especially as like femme presenting people as well, there's that added layer of like, why are you talking about that as well from society, right? So I think the more we break down the stigma by having these healthy conversations, the easier it becomes to start setting those boundaries, because you're starting to listen to yourself and dim down some of those external voices that aren't helping you and are only hindering you.
And if you have never had that like example of a healthy relationship or of a healthy like conversation around those things, you don't even know how to like start that or how to like do it. And it is like, you just like trusting your gut in those moments. I think there are a lot of times I look back on like wanting to have these conversations with like a person, but not knowing, like not feeling like I could. And when I look back on it, like that feeling of not like the way I was feeling was because I actually knew that I couldn't with that person. And it's like, you just need to like back yourself in those moments of like, I'm clearly not in the right place and this clearly isn't my person, and like you shouldn't be feeling like this. Like if you've got that gut feeling that's like, I don't know, like trust it, back yourself. It's tough and it's like scary, and you think like, he's my one and I'm going to be with him forever. And it's like, no.
You'll experience so many different people in general, like friendships, relationships, whatever it is, right? It won't be the end of the world. Like you will find the right people to make you feel comfortable to be able to have these conversations and not feel like scared about it. You might be nervous going into it, but you come out of the conversation feeling better if it's with the right person.
Yeah. And I even think having this with like a best friend, like even if it's not like with your partner, like I would go to my friends and be like, how do I do this? Like, what do you think? And like having those, I know we're saying like dim the like other voices, but when it's like a friendship,
a voice of reason,
like someone you really do trust and you're like, this is like my best friend, going to them and being like, how do I do this? Like, what did you say? Or could I say this? Or should I say this? Or how about if I was like feeling this? And kind of brainstorming all the different options, and like, I could say this, or maybe if I tried that, and like kind of looking at it from the bigger picture and like doing that, I also think can really help, because sometimes it's just, you don't have that like trusted adult and those kind of bigger conversations. You can just like brainstorm with a friend.
Yeah. But in saying that, like, if you have like older siblings, like over 18, who have more like life experience and things like that, or even like friends' older siblings, they're really great sources of just, like I said, like life experience, knowledge of like what they wish they knew, sort of thing. Like similar to what we're doing right now, of like, when I was younger, I wish I knew with this question that like either way it's going to give me answers. I'm going to either get like what I want and they're going to respect the boundaries, or they're going to show a side of them that I was like, oh, this is the reason I felt uncomfortable as a part of it. So whether you get the like what you want out of it or not, you're going to get answers by having the conversations, and it's going to show you that. So I think even though it feels scary, feel scared and still do it. And by do it, I mean have the conversation.
It gives you a direction to go from now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you might not have all the answers, you might not have all the steps, but like you said, it gives you the direction in which you like want to go to or maybe need to go to. Yeah.
Like, that's kind of good. Yeah. Next question.
Alrighty, let's get into it.
Also about relationships. What makes a relationship healthy? Is spending too much time with your partner unhealthy? I think that's such a kind of beautiful question. And I think, again, of like the I can't say no to sex, I feel too bad. You need to like, there's two ways to look at it, of like, is spending too much time with your partner unhealthy? Like, no, if you're enjoying your time and if you're like feeling safe and respected and you're having fun and you're doing these things. But if it's a feeling isolated, like if you feel like you can't hang out with anyone else, or you haven't seen your friends in a while and you are like missing out.
Yeah, or even if you're losing yourself, you don't have a sense of self because you're consumed by your partner. That's when it's like, okay, maybe let's just kind of establish what is healthy for you and what you like your needs, not just like you and your partner, or not just your partner. And I think it's so difficult because even when you like go to other people and like everybody's going to have different boundaries, different things that's like healthy and unhealthy for them. And only by kind of like going through it and learning from yourself, you're going to figure out that. But in saying that, I think the number one thing, I don't know if this is controversial, but if every other person in your life is like a bit hesitant on that person, or if like your loved ones, the people who know you, who have like witnessed you outside of a relationship, but just for years or whatever it is, and they're noticing changes in your behavior, they're noticing you isolating yourself from your people, or even just the things you love doing, listen to them. Because it's not them doing it because they like want to make you upset or want you to like break up with your partner. It's not that. It's because they care about you and they're noticing that you're not you, or there's parts of you that's like slipping away. And it's really like, as someone who's had so many friends go through this, it's really sad to see when you like, when they go into the relationship, they're like they're the brightest version of themselves, and then that light slowly dims. Reaching out to them and being there for them in a way that is also going to make them receive it. Like, don't go be like, you never hang out with me anymore. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't need to be that, but being like, hey, like, I'm just noticing things are a little bit different, and I like know you're in this relationship, and I like I hope things are going well, but I'm just like noticing that you're not kind of like you used to be, or like, is everything okay? Like, how's it going? Like, all of this stuff, checking in and creating a safe space for them to feel heard and seen as well, because your people want you to be you,
and not being like defensive about it, not coming like attacking or angry, because then that person takes it of like, oh well, you're just jealous that like I've got a partner and you don't, or like you don't know what's best for me. And it's like, no, like listen. And again, like if everyone's seeing it, like I have a friend at the moment literally in a relationship, and we're all kind of looking at it like, oh. And I think my biggest advice that I've given like this person and our friends is, you can check in as much as you want, and you can say like, I'm noticing this, like this isn't good, and now they've done this the week later, and then this has now happened, and you're kind of continuously seeing those things, instead of just being like, they shouldn't be treating you like this and they shouldn't be doing this to you. Stick by them until the end, because there will come a point where they are going to need to like fall back on someone. And if you've lost all, if they like, you've all just kind of left them and you're like, yeah, well, we told you and now we're going, like, no, like stick for that person. Make sure they know that you will be there if this doesn't work out, and not be the person that's like, I told you so. because they are going to need a support system once this is over.
100%.
And just because you saw it was bad and just because you tried to warn them and you're like, well, they're no hope, stay. I'm like, you just have to be there because you might have been like, I told you so, and that's how you might be feeling. But at the end of the day, they were in it and they can't really see those other options because sometimes those like partners are just really awful, manipulative, gaslighting kind of people.
All consuming.
Yeah, and you just can't see out of it until it's over and you look back and you go, what?
Yeah.
And you need someone to fall back onto and like to pick you up again. And if you've now kind of as their friend left them, like...
And think about, like, if you're the one in the relationship, how grateful you would be to the people who stayed. People can disagree with your choices and still be there for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you want at the end of the day. It's like, if you are in those unhealthy relationships or situations, for those people to fall back on, and it's like, maybe later they'll tell you I told you so. But
for now,
they're just going to give you the support that you need.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really matters. And it's what we all want at the end of the day is just to feel loved and supported.
And I think like in spending too much time with your partner, if you're just enjoying their company and you're feeling good and you're feeling productive and happy and engaged and kind of enjoying it, then there's nothing wrong with it. But just make sure you're still seeing your friends and doing your hobbies and seeing family and doing everything that kind of made you happy before.
Yeah, nurturing those other areas in your life. I love to give this analogy to people. I saw it on TikTok really randomly and I can't find the TikTok and it's really bothers me.
I'm always like, so I saw this thing and it's always TikTok.
Yep.
I'm like, I read this article. No.
And basically, so imagine your life as a boat, right? And your boat, it has all of these compartments. Like, think of just a boat, and then it has all of these compartments in it. And the compartments are different aspects of your life. So it's like friends, relationship, hobbies, just random different things you like doing and the different ways you split up how you live your life, right? Let's say all you have in your life is your relationship and your family. If there is a hole in one of those compartments, and let's say there's a hole in your relationship and half of your boat is your relationship, your boat sinks, right? But if you split up your boat and you nurture different areas of your boat, if there's a hole in one, because it's less weighted, you're not going to sink. Because you're nurturing all those other areas, you're going to be okay. Rather than if you put all your focus into one or two things, right? And once you lose that, you lose so much of yourself. So just think about that with your relationships as well, with what's healthy and unhealthy for you, of like, if you nurture the different aspects of it, if one thing maybe breaks open, maybe there's a hole in there, right? You can still find ways to like patch it up without sinking. And I just love that analogy like so much. And I say it so often because I think it's a great way just to look at your life as a whole rather than just like putting all your full force into one specific thing. And then if that doesn't work out, what do you have?
Yeah. Oh my God. And I think when it comes to like healthy and unhealthy, healthy relationships can be different for everyone. Like different couples will enjoy different things and different people just have different likes, interests, dislikes, that all relationships will look different. But as long as you're feeling respected, cared for, loved, like your boundaries are being listened to.
Yeah, you're being heard.
Like, content.
If you're the best version of yourself when you're around this person, that is like the greenest of green flags, because when you're around the right people, you're going to be the most you.
If you feel like you can comfortably be yourself.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. That's what makes a relationship healthy. I love talking about relationships.
Yeah, I always think it's so fascinating. And like you said, it's going to be different for everyone. But I think this is one of my biggest things, because I don't think a lot of people do it. I think when people also give you advice, they give you advice as if they were in the situation. No, they don't give you advice for you in that situation. Yeah. So I think recognize that as well a little bit, and even like, I wouldn't say like call it out, but just acknowledge it. Be like, hey, I know this works for you and this is what you might want for your situation. But for me, like, this is how I would approach it. Like, how do you think knowing me is gonna, like, what's gonna help me?
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people like project their wants and needs, which can sometimes be healthy. Like, other perspectives are really good, but you also need to know the person you're talking to and helping. And you need to know like what's gonna work for them. Especially like, let's say when it comes to communication, if there's someone who's like not really good at it, doesn't really address conflict, things like that, you being like, just talk to them. that's not going to help them, right? Start with like maybe the baby steps of like, okay, maybe just start by like writing it down. Figure out like what you want to say and what you don't want to say and what works for you. And like from there, what do you feel comfortable starting to voice? Right? Think about the person that you're like helping out, or even think about yourself and like what you would want. Figure out what works for you, because it is going to be different for everyone.
Yeah. Love that. Oh my God, relationships. Boundaries, healthy on, oh my God, so much. We could go on for like hours. If you have any other questions, like if you feel like there is something you want addressed, something you want answered, I like promise you somebody else is probably thinking the same thing. Send us a DM, send us an email, comment it, leave it somewhere, let us know, because we could definitely keep yapping about these kinds of things. Yeah. I would love to know your questions that you want answered.
Please. Yeah.
So, to end our episodes, we love to do our leaves and our loves for the week. What are we leaving this week?
I'm leaving not listening to my gut when things feel off. I'm leaving ignoring signs and not even just signs, ignoring what's right in front of me.
Real?
And I think because sometimes you try to justify it and be like, oh no, but they meant it this way and blah, blah, blah. No, like I said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
I love that. Ignoring signs. No, actually, know what? It's right there.
It's right there. It's not even signs. It's plain and simple right in front of me, right? I'm leaving ignoring that because it's going to come out. I'm just prolonging the stress. So just like listening to it, and like I think and that comes from like trusting myself. Yeah. So I think like leaving ignoring things. Yeah. Especially with boundaries and relationships.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm leaving. What am I leaving?
If you like boundaries, relationships, if you're like, oh, if I left this a long time ago, it would have been so much easier.
I am leaving. This is what I think of when I think about like boundaries and relationships and what I wish I was thinking at the time. I'm leaving like romanticizing what it could be instead of just dealing with what's actually happening.
Yeah.
I think I was so stuck in, but it like imagine this and imagine in like 5 years when we're like doing this, and I'm like, yeah, but look at how you're being treated and how you're feeling right now. That's not good. Yeah. And so I don't know why you are thinking in 5 years it's going to be any better and something's going to change when we leave or we do this. I'm like, no, because the way they are treating you right now isn't good. Yeah. And that's not going to change just because you got a bit older or just because you've done this. I am leaving romanticizing that, like trusting my gut, backing myself in that. That is what I wish I would have like known or had been told or like had thought at the time. So that is what I'm leaving.
100%. Love that.
Yeah. What do you love?
What am I loving? I know I need to think about this. Ooh, I know what I'm loving. I'm loving when I set boundaries with people that they hear it.
Yeah.
Because we say this in workshops too. And I just think it's just so true. Who feels sometimes like when you're having conversations with people and you're saying, if it's like conflict resolution, whatever it is, like you're saying your part and you know that they're not listening, they're just waiting to respond.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes.
Exactly. They're like right? Yeah. I'm loving when people actually hear me and hear my boundaries. And one of my friends said to me, which I say to everybody now, especially with boundaries, with relationships, things like this, right? It doesn't, because I'm really bad at conflict resolution. I like to keep the peace. And it's also inherently not helpful, right? I'm like, oh, I'm just so bad at confrontation, blah, blah, blah. And then my friend goes to me, they say, it doesn't have to be confrontational. It can just be conversational. And it's that simple. Yeah, right. But I think, and with the right people, it is. But I also want to acknowledge people are still human beings. They have feelings, and it's not always going to be that, like, it doesn't feel that simple. But it is, I'm loving when I do bring up this stuff and I have those conversations with people that they are receptive and understanding and empathetic and still can have their voice and we can have a productive conversation. Yeah. I'm loving that.
That one's deep. I am loving doing the little things to make it easier for the bigger things.
Oh, I really like that.
I think this is something I was talking about in therapy. I just feel like I have such like a busy brain and I've got so much going at once, and I tend to feel quite overwhelmed because my brain's always going and I'm always thinking I have to do this and then I need to be doing this and I have to organize for this, and I'm just always like, okay. And I've started like doing those really small things of like, I will do a tiny clean of my room every night, and by just like putting away that pair of shoes and putting that moisturizer back in here, it has made such a difference. And I think it's just because that's how my brain works and it's so fast. But like doing those little things, and this could be like for anything, like having those little conversations so it doesn't get bigger, or like anything, but by doing those little things, it's helping those bigger things because they link. And if I leave it too long, it becomes big. But doing those little things, loving it at the moment. So shout out to my therapist for helping me with this, but loving it.
Yeah, amazing.
Yay!
So thank you if you've watched or listened till the end. If you're listening to us, I think like, rate, whatever
Share.
the things are. Yeah, if you're watching, leave a comment down below. We want to hear from you. We really want this to be your space. Tell us what you want to know more stuff on, what you want us to chat about. It is for you, and we mean it.
It can only be about you if it comes from you.
Exactly. And so please, like, let us know with whether it's relationships, whether it's any other topics. We know that young people are going through these things. We can't help if we don't like know what it is, and we know it's happening and we want to talk about it. We want you to give you this space for it. So please, like, let us know. Thank you for joining us. We love creating this space with you guys. And
I just like that I have a microphone in front of me and they go, we can chat.
yeah.
Give me any question. I want to answer it.
Yeah, and that's why we're here. Yeah. So thank you for being with us. Like in our workshops, we do a whoosh of love, and we like to end all of our episodes with one as well. So hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoosh! Bye!
Here are some resources for further support. Lifeline 131114. Beyond Blue 1300 224 636. 1-800-RESPECT 1800 737 732. Suicide Callback Services 1300 659 467. 13-YARN 139276. QLife 1800 184 527. Kids Helpline 1800 55 1800. There's a QR code for further resources.